Everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is November 30th, 2025, and UEFA have inspected the Spotify Camp Nou ahead of the Champions League match against Eintracht. Also, Hansi Flick looked absolutely broken after the Alaves match, and we're going to tell you what the reason was. And finally, Flick has chosen who he wants Barcelona to sign for that left wing. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and I'm officially back home, back in my YouTube studio. It's so good to be home. So now it's back to your regularly scheduled videos and podcasts. Right now I'm doing 3 lives because I do have a wedding. I landed today early in the morning and now I have a wedding, so I don't have time to film, edit, and post. So I'm instead gonna do 3 back-to-back live videos to keep you up to date on all Barcelona news. So stay tuned to the channel and let's dive right into the news, because yesterday Barcelona celebrated their 126th anniversary. Of course, Barcelona was founded on November 29, 1888. And yesterday, Barcelona celebrated the 126th anniversary at the Camp Nou with this beautiful mosaic that was seen right before the match began. Of course, the mosaic containing both the Blaugrana colors and also the Catalan flag colors. Now, the reason I bring this up was because I forgot to mention something during the post-match live analysis. Now, of course, Barcelona did beat Alaves 3-1 with goals of Lamine Yamal and a double by Dani Olmo. But in the post-match live analysis, I forgot to mention that what a way to celebrate Barcelona's anniversary with eight academy players in Barcelona's starting lineup. Starting, of course, with the entire defense that was made up of academy players: Eric Garcia, Pau Cubarsí, Gerard Martin. I guess Gerard Martin is not fully an academy player, but he did spend some time with Barça Athletic. And then Alejandro Balde. Our midfield was completely made up of academy players with Marc Bernal, Marc Casado, and Dani Olmo. And then, of course, in the attack, we had Lamine Yamal. So 8, maybe 7, I guess, if you exclude Gerard Martin, academy players in the starting lineup. What a way to celebrate Barcelona's 126th anniversary. After all, our greatest asset has always been and will always be our academy, La Masia, which is one of the best, if not the best, academy in the entire world. Now, the celebration yesterday and the match yesterday did not happen without any hiccups, because right before the match began, the application which people used to buy tickets for the match completely crashed right before the match began. So there were a lot of fans who were left stranded outside the stadium, and Barcelona had to implement last-minute protocols, had to divert all the fans who were trying to enter through the gates to the Barcelona offices to try to get them verified through the computer that they indeed purchased tickets, and then had to print them out and do it manually. It was an absolute chaos. And well, today, Elena Fort gave an explanation on what happened, and well, she blamed it on the stadium. She said, well, it's a brand new stadium, so, this happens, but we're working on fixing it. I think it's absolute bull, because this is the same app that fans used when they were going to Montjuic. So the app didn't change, the system didn't change, nothing changed, but it still crashed. And this is just another example of improvisation. Of course, let's not forget what happened with the stream during the pre-match preseason, where people paid to be able to watch the preseason matches on the Barca TV one, or Barca One, or whatever the hell it's called, the TV station, the streaming service that Barca have. That completely crashed. They blamed it on hackers, and then computer experts came out and said there was no hack. It was simply not equipped to handle all the traffic that it handles. So once again, Barcelona failing in this regards, but hopefully this doesn't happen again, because there were a lot of fans stranded out there. They couldn't enter the stadium. Now, speaking, of course, of yesterday's match and the stadium, UEFA inspectors were seen at the Camp Nou. And no, they were not just there to watch the match. They were actually there to do a full inspection. Now, as you know, UEFA have already given the green light to Barcelona to host the Eintracht match at the Camp Nou, which will be the first official Champions League match in this new Camp Nou. And yesterday, during the Alaves match, UEFA inspectors were at the stadium in order to inspect the stadium under pressure, right? UEFA inspectors had already gone at the stadium and inspected it themselves, but it's different to inspect the stadium that's empty versus inspecting a stadium with 45,000 people in it. So the UEFA inspectors were there scrutinizing, for example, the security protocols that Barcelona had implemented, the access points to the stadium, internal signage, and of course, the general flow of spectators through the stadium to make sure that this stadium is not only equipped to handle people when there are no people, but that it's actually equipped to handle people when there are people at the stadium. Now, more news because a video after yesterday's match has gone viral, which shows Hansi Flick completely broken after the Alaves match, just sitting there on the bench looking distraught. And then we see Raphinha going there to console him. And a lot of theories have emerged on why Hansi Flick looked like that. Well, we do have an official response from the club, from Barcelona, on why Flick was, why he looked distressed. But let's first watch the video that has gone viral. Again, this was after the Alaves match. We're going to hit play. There you'll see Hansi Flick just sitting there, looking broken. And then, of course, Raphinha comes and kind of tries to console him. Now, a lot of theories have emerged on social media on why this happened. A lot of people saying, oh, that Flick is, very disappointed with the team. He feels like the players don't listen to him, that the players are not heeding his instructions, and that's why he feels disappointed. Well, the club's official version is that Hansi Flick felt this way because he just could not understand what's going on with the referee, and where he feels that officials have been targeting his bench, because during yesterday's match, not one, but two of his assistants received red cards. We had Marcus Sorg received a red card, who is his right-hand man, and also Jose Ramon de la Fuente, who was the goalkeeping coach. He also received a red card, so that means that both of them will be suspended for the Atletico Madrid match. And of course, this is not the first time that Hansi Flick's assistants have been targeted, including himself. Marcus Sorg has also received a red card before. Flick has received red cards one time for just doing this. So it's reported that Hansi Flick was very disappointed with the officials, doesn't understand why they keep targeting his bench. And also, of course, he felt like there were two penalty kicks that should have been granted to Barcelona, which were not. So I think Hansi Flick is reaching the conclusion that officiating in Spain is absolute trash, that these referees are mentally handicapped, that they are mediocre, that they lack training, and that no one wants to do anything about it. And that's why he looked the way he did. I don't truly believe in the whole theory that Hansi Flick was, feels like the locker room doesn't listen to him, because I feel like if that was the case, I don't think he would show it in public. I think he would handle that behind closed doors, as he always has. I don't think he would just sit there on the bench and let the cameras capture him, as opposed with refereeing. Of course, if they do capture it and then they ask him about it, he could just straight up say it, versus, airing out dirty laundry, such as, oh, my players don't listen to me, or anything like that. Anyways, speaking of Raphinha, who did console Hansi Flick in that video, the Barcelona captain had some pretty interesting statements to say after the match. And starting with talking, of course, about whether that first goal that Lamine Yamal scored should have counted as an assist for him. And he said, it doesn't matter if they count an assist. The most important thing is that Lamine was able to score and tie the game. I try to give my best in the minutes I'm on the team. Being able to start in the 11 makes me happy. What I do is help the team as much as possible, and I'm happy about that. I'm trying to get back to my best physically. I'm not fit to play 90 minutes, but when I'm on the pitch, I try to give my all. In the second half, I felt the fatigue I had. I'm working to get back to my best, and I hope to recover my best form as soon as possible. Of course, explaining how he was subbed at the 60th minute, because he's been out for 2 months. So of course, he's still not there yet as far as playing 90 minutes. Now, Raphinha continued to often say that the best defense starts with a good attack. It's crucial that we help the defense with pressure. I try to make it easier for our defenders and more difficult for the opponent. I try to press and take away space from the other team's center back so we can have the ball. It's good when the team presses behind me like that, but I often do it without thinking. I just try and win the ball back as quickly as possible. And here, Raphinha highlighting something that I've always talked about in the channel, the importance of the press, and the importance of the press started all the way with the attackers, because when the attackers don't press, that only gives spaces to the opposing team's defense to pass the ball to their midfielders. And then if our midfield doesn't press, then that gives the opponent's midfielders plenty of space to pass it to the attackers, and by then it's too late and our defense cannot do anything. But of course, the blame as always falls on the defense. But it all starts with the attackers. And here, Raphinha adding his name to the long list of other Barcelona players like Pedri, like Frankie, like Pau Cubarsí, like Hansi Flick, who've all talked about this. But people insist, no, Mo, it's not the press. Well, I guess all these players, including Raphinha and Flick, they're all wrong. But some people out there are the ones who are right, that it's not the press, it's the highlight. Now, Raphinha continued saying, I often feel like I'm being a bit pushy with the pressure. There are many times when they think I talk too much, that I'm too demanding, that I expect too much from them. But that's just who I am. I demand more from people I know can give much more. I accept this responsibility, and then in the locker room, we hug each other and celebrate the victory. Spoken like a true captain, Raphinha not only pushing himself, but also pushing all his teammates. And he says, I feel like sometimes I'm being a bit pushy. No, you're not, Raphinha. You're not being pushy. You're being a true captain and a true leader who expects and demands the best from not just himself, but from everything around him. And that has become more than visible, more than clear, especially in yesterday's match, where the first half where Raphinha was on the field, in comparison to the second half where he came off, was day and night. Not just in the fact that Raphinha was playing with 200% intensity, but the fact that it was so contagious that his teammates also did. But the moment he came out, we all saw how the intensity dropped. Anyways, let's end today's video with the news that has been revealed who Hansi Flick's pick is for the left wing, and it's no other than Yan Diomande. Now, as I told you in a previous video, Hansi Flick met with Deco a few days ago to discuss the priorities for the summer transfer market, because this is the time, this is the season of the season where clubs start to make moves for the summer transfer market. And Flick picked 3 positions that he wants to reinforce: the center back, the center forward, and the left wing. And this has been revealed to be Hansi Flick's pick for the left wing. Now, if you haven't heard of Yan Diomande, he's a 19-year-old left winger from Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire, who currently plows his trade at Leipzig. He recently signed a contract until 2030. He spent his formative years in the U.S. Then he signed for Leganés this past January, and 6 months later, he made a move to Leipzig worth 20 million euros. Now, so far, Yan Diomande has played 13 matches in which he has scored 4 goals and provided 3 assists, 4 goals and 3 assists in 13 matches. And again, this is Hansi Flick's choice for the left wing. What's the problem? The problem is that he does not have a release clause, right? Not all contracts have a release clause. In La Liga, they're mandatory. Every player has a release clause. In other leagues, that's not the case. So he doesn't have a release clause. His contract is until 2030. So that means anyone who wants to sign him, they're at the mercy of Leipzig, who have already set a price of 100 million euros. 100 million euros. Absolute insanity, by the way. I don't know what's going on with Leipzig. They've lost their mind. I mean, sure, this guy looks promising, but 100 million euros for a 19-year-old who still has not done anything, who only played 6 months in La Liga and just made a move to the Bundesliga, I think Leipzig have lost their freaking mind. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I'm going live again after this and then again after that. So 3 lives back to back. So stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, be scarce.